Good evening. You're watching the news on Mirror Now. I'm Ritangshu Bhattacharya. The spotlight is back on the tragic stampede that unfolded during the screening of the latest movie Pushpa 2, given the fiery comments made by Telangana Chief Minister Revanth Reddy today. Now, Reddy has launched a scathing attack on superstar Allu Arjun, holding him personally responsible for a stampede that claimed a woman's life and left many others injured. He claims that the actor showed up at the screening despite the police denying permission over crowd control fears. But here is the real shocker. The Chief Minister of the state alleges that even after the chaos broke out, even after a life was lost, Allu Arjun stayed on, forcing the police to escort him out. But that's not all. Reddy also took aim, saying that once the Arjun left the theatre, he still jumped out of his car through the sunroof and continued to play to the galleries, pray to the crowds, continuing the crowd, ensuring that the crowd remained excited, remained agitated, stopping the police from doing their duty. Listen in.
डीसीपी आके सीधा हटा के इनके जो भी है सब सिक्योरिटी वाले पुलिस को हैंड ओवर कर देके डीसीपी जाके हीरो को बोल दिए कि भाई तुम तुरंत निकलना, नहीं है तो हम लोग अरेस्ट करना पड़ता, क्योंकि 2 लाश गिर गए बाहर। आप वो यहाँ पर थिएटर में बैठ के तमाशा किए तो ये कंट्रोल नहीं होने वाले हैं, हम नहीं सुनने वाले हैं, आपको अरेस्ट करके पुलिस स्टेशन लेकर जाना पड़ता, आप तो निकलो। जबरदस्ती से वो हीरो को हमारा डीसीपी वो लॉ एंड ऑर्डर सिचुएशन देकर उनको बाहर लेकर आए। बाहर गाड़ी में बिठाने के बाद फिर जाते होकर फिर रूफटॉप निकाल के फिर लोगों को ऐसा कर रहा, तो ये कैसे इंसान है? हम लोग क्या बोलना है सर? मुझे तो समझ में नहीं आ रहा। मैं बाहर ये बोल भी नहीं सकता हूं, अगर कुर्सी में बैठकर खामोश भी नहीं बैठ सकता हूं। तो ऐसे इंसान भी आजकल दुनिया में है। किसी का हत्या होने के बाद, किसी का जान बचाने के बाद, किसी का जान लेने के बाद आज स्पेशल प्रिविलेज मांगे तो ये सरकार में नहीं मिलने वाले। मैं जब तक मैं कुर्सी में रहता हूं तब तक नहीं देता हूं।
मेरी इंफॉर्मेशन के हिसाब से वो फिल्म स्टार गए थिएटर को पिक्चर देखने के लिए, बैठे हुए थे, गड़बड़ हुई, उसके बाद पुलिस वाले आकर बोले कि भगदड़ हो गई, स्टैम्पेड हो गया, 2 बच्चे गिर गए हैं, एक लेडी मर गई है। तो उसके बाद में वो फिल्म स्टार पलट के ऐसा मुस्कुराते हैं और बोलते हैं अब तो पिक्चर हिट होने वाली है। और जो लोग बोल रहे हैं कि वेव कर लेते गए, सर 1-2 बच्चे स्टैम्पेड में आ गए, एक औरत मर गई, उसके बाद भी वहीं पर बैठकर पूरा पिक्चर देखकर उठकर जाते वक्त भी वो स्टैम्पेड को नहीं देखे, वो फिर गाड़ी में बैठ के ऐसा वेव कर लेते हुए गए। एक मैसेज ऐसा दे रहे हैं कि गवर्नमेंट जुल्म कर रही है, ज्यादती कर रही है। सर इंसानियत कहां है बताइए?
So this is an unprecedented level of the face-off that's happened. It's now become a direct fight between one of the most popular actors of the Telugu film industry here. In fact, someone whose popularity is now pan-India versus an elected chief minister of state. You heard Revanth Reddy coming out with some absolutely strong words and strong claims being made against Allu Arjun. Is that true? And in that case, can there be any sympathy that can be afforded to Allu Arjun? Let me go across to my guests who are joining me at this point. This Saturday evening, Dinakar Lanka is leader of the BJP. Khalikur Rahman is a political analyst. Ravi Rai is also joining me. He's a film and TV writer and producer as well. And I'm also being joined by Arvind Kumar Jain, former DGP of Uttar Pradesh. Thank you all, gentlemen, for joining me at this point. Let me start with Khalikur Rahman first. Or let me start first with Dinakar Lankajan and then I'll bring in Khalikur Rahman. Dinakar, if these statements are true, the fact that the claim that Allu Arjun A was insensitive enough to come to the police, to the theatre, despite being requested not to by the Telangana police, carry on the viewing despite getting to know of the consequences of his arrival, the stampede that happened, in which at least one woman was dead and another child, her own child, seriously injured, then being forced to leave by the Telangana DCP under the threat that he would otherwise be arrested, but yet continuing to emerge out of his car's sunroof and play to the crowds, despite knowing that just a few minutes ago, at least one life had been lost there. Can these actions be excused by anyone?
Three things exist simultaneously in this episode. Number one, victim family. The woman who deceased and her child who is battling with his life in the hospital. Everybody should be sympathetic, and such kind of incident should not be happened. No human being encourages such kind of things. That is number one. Number two, politics to get cine industry attention into their fold. It is happening for long back. Even in Andhra Pradesh, it was happened with Y.S. Jagannath Reddy in his government. KCR and KTR also made similar things. Now, some doubts also coming out that there is some kind of influence on cinema industry, which is trying by the Telangana present government. And the third one is law and order failure. When the cinema theater management has shown that there has been prior intimation had given for the security fail and lapses are very clear, which is appearing. So these three things are exist. But here, after the decease of the woman, which was known to the cinema actor Allu Arjun, but through the police, if it is true, definitely if he do such kind of practice after the incident, if he showcases his presence to the people like these kind of celebration, that is not at all correct. That is not fair on his part. But there are a huge amount of the doubts are coming out that when the prior security purpose prior intimation has given theater, which was been undermined, which has been not
Okay.
taken to account by the Telangana government, and they are telling that they had intimated don't come to the theater to the Allu Arjun. They intimated like that, but there was no written proof. Where there is a written proof for security arrangement for theater, theater management is showcasing they themselves, but government and police people there is no written
Okay.
statement. They are not.
Then let me bring in others. So you are saying Dinakar Lanka effectively. You are saying Dinakar Lanka effectively that at the end of the day, it's still the job of the police to ensure safety and of all the people present there. Kaliko Reman, in that case, is the Telangana government guilty of shifting the goalposts and putting the focus on an actor's so-called inhuman behavior when at the end of the day, perhaps on the face of it, they have failed in the basic job to provide enough security to ensure that there was no breakdown of law and order at the event?
Yeah, good evening to all my co-panelists. Good evening to all the viewers. Let me tell you that first of all, there was no permission granted to Sandhya management for the arrival of Allu Arjun there, Allu Arjun there. And then it was just a letter which was given in the inward and the acknowledgement was taken. And the procedure is when you give a letter for the permission, then you get the letter of the permission from the police. So that is the authentic proof that you have got the permission. But when this letter was given, then the police informed the Sandhya management that there is only one entry and the one exit. And if you come and visit the Sandhya Theatre, it is located right in Chikkarpalli, which is a very congested area. And in spite of being told not to visit, Allu Arjun wanted some kind of the publicity for his film. And then he came, and then
But
the
Mr.
entire
Rahman,
commotion
Arjun,
happened. And after that,
Mr. Rahman, Allu Arjun has been coming to the theatre. Okay, please complete your point. I have a cross question, so please complete your point.
Then he waved to the crowd, played to the crowd there, and then he went inside, sat there, and then he was informed by the police. The DCP himself went there and told him that there was a stampede outside, and one person has already died. But in spite of that, he continued watching the movie. That shows the very inhuman attitude, how insensitive this gentleman is. And after that, he left the theater after watching the full movie. And again, while going, you can see on your screen, he waved to the crowd, he waved to his fans, and then he fled from there, actually. So, I mean, they did not even have the humanity to stop there, to inquire, to ask, to go and visit.
And that is the
The
main point
deceased
coming in.
at the hospital.
Whether
Yes.
Allu Arjun was directly responsible, for the stampede or not, that remains a separate matter here, which is why the
Yeah.
investigation is going on. But
Yeah.
Ravi Rai, let me bring you in at this point.
Let me
Does
also.
it not speak very wrong of the film fraternity? Yeah, one second. Does it not speak very poorly of the film fraternity if an actor is told that, just because of your presence, just a few minutes ago, at least one person is lost, that there are two people who are lying on the ground, presumably dead, one of them is dead and confirmed dead eventually, yet he continues to be in the theater, and yet he continues to then, he is forced to finally come out of the theater only when he's threatened with an arrest if he does not do so. And when he comes out, he still gets out of the sunroof of his car and still waves on to his crowd, completely ignoring or neglecting the fact that just minutes ago there was a fatality at that very spot.
Now, to begin with, very honestly, I mean, how authentic is this narrative? Very honestly, this narrative was not there when he was arrested. It wasn't there. This narrative, it came
See, Mr. Rai,
right.
it's coming in from the chief minister of the. It's
Yes,
coming in
yes,
from an
yes,
elected chief minister
yes,
of the government being
yes,
said in the floor of
yes,
the
yes,
house. We
yes,
cannot
yes.
discredit it that easily.
No. Floor of the house. I mean, I'm not. Neither am I defending Allu Arjun, nor am I. My point is, how is he responsible for the stampede? Aren't the organizers, people those who are organizing, responsible? How does a star, I mean, tomorrow I go to see, when I was a kid, I mean, there used to be Mohan Bagan and East Bengal matches, and every match or every concert of Michael Jackson, every concert, I'm telling you, has accidents. I mean, you don't arrest the star. I mean, you don't arrest Messi or Ronaldinho for or Maradona for things happening there. I mean, it's the duty of the organizers. And if the organizers had not given permission, they knew the star is coming there. Why were they not there? Why were they not there then? And this narrative of Mr. Reddy coming, I respect, he's fine, he's absolutely in saying this. But where was this narrative 1 hour after his arrest? This narrative wasn't there. This narrative wasn't there.
Okay.
And the FIR was lost by the woman who died by her husband. I mean, there was nothing as such. I mean, once again, I say this may be true, but how much can we rely on this? I mean, if this is true, then it paints Allu Arjun completely inhuman villain of the society. If this is true, if this narrative is true, it paints him very black.
Well, I must state one thing at this point here. Allu Arjun is at this point holding a press conference here, and we are waiting for him to speak on this issue. And when he does speak on this issue, when he does give his side of the story, we will be the first to put it on air right now. But first, before we go, let me also bring in at this point Arvind Kumar Jain. Sir, you are a former DGP of Uttar Pradesh. You understand the intricacies of a police bandobast very well. In your understanding, is the Telangana police, and by extension, the government of Telangana, including the chief minister, trying to shift the onus away and at least shift the narrative against Allu Arjun to try and cover up for the fact that at the end of the day, security was their job and they failed evidently to secure all the people who were present for that screening?
You are absolutely correct. It was the duty of the police to ensure law and order there, to ensure security and safety of all the people who are visiting Sandhya Theatre to watch either the star or the movie. But at the same time, I don't know what are the facts. But if he had been told not to visit, management had been told that he is not supposed to visit, and permission was not granted, for holding this premiere or for calling Allu Arjun to the premiere show, then it was his duty not to visit. I'm number one point. Number two, when he was in the theater and he was informed about the death of the woman and serious injuries to to her son, then I think he should have, if police was advising him to leave the theater, then he should have immediately left the theater in police custody and should have gone silently and should have said a few words of sympathy for the family instead of waving to the crowd. This is not acceptable to me. All these facts were not in my knowledge. But if he is waving to the crowd after the death of lady and after the son sustained injuries, and one thing more, I have been told, I was listening, he said that ab to film hit ho jayegi. If these are the words, then he is highly insensitive and he deserves punishment. He deserves punishment, and such words are not expected from a superstar. He should have shown sympathy.
Allu
He
Arjun
should
is
have
just speaking, sir. Let's listen in. Let's cut across live.